Welcome to the Barre Beat podcast, filmed live. Well, we're live from ASB Financial Studios and Fly on the Wall Productions on Main Street, Barre, Vermont. Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you here tonight. On our show, we have Josh Howard.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls.
And we also have former Mayor Lucas Herring.
Good evening, Michael.
It's been a long time.
It hasn't really been that long. It might just seem longer than it is.
It does feel long. It feels like it's been a very long time.
Yeah. No, work's been busy for me too, so it definitely seems a lot longer than it is.
What have you been up to?
Well, my day job, currently I'm down staff, so it's basically doing, my job and the jobs of those that would be working for me. May is also the end of our IT procurement period, so we had to rush to get a number of items in. And over the next week, I'll be working on a couple different contracts that need to be in so they get FY22 funding. It's just a process. I'm used to it every year, but it's just, a busy time period. But non-work stuff, we just had Green Up Day, which is, of course, my favorite holiday. You know this from my many years on council with you.
This is true.
And he's going to mess with my microphone again. But yeah, so between Green Up and part of that's been working with Troop 729 out of Northfield. We did, and I let you know about this before, was the East Roxbury Cemetery. We were able to clean up at that area. And, just all of my hats usually run over a little bit. So, helping one cause by doing another. So.
Nice.
Yeah, and it looks like the city's been doing the work for Green Up Day too. I drove around on, pretty much all this weekend to different locations. My favorite location was actually the drive as you get off the interstate from the Northfield exit, but you head toward Williamstown. We took my mother out for Mother's Day, and that entire road was bags, like left and right. You could pretty much see that it hasn't been cleaned for a while, and the group that was out there was just doing fantastic.
Nice. Did you drive by City Hall Park?
I did. I saw the event for Rory Tebow, so that was earlier in the week, and I did not see the blow-up event, though. I wasn't here during that time of the day.
Oh, you didn't see the blow-up to glow up?
No, I was here that morning for the kickoff event for Green Up behind City Hall Park. I went out with the Lions. We cleaned the area on Maple Street from about where Mulligan's is up to the Barrytown line next to Hope Cemetery. And once that was done, I was over in Northfield helping over there.
Nice.
Funny thing about Saturday for the blow up or glow up is, so Michael invited me down. He's like, hey, watch me do some drone footage down by City Hall Park. I'm like, okay. Brought a friend with me. I had completely forgotten it was blow up or glow up, so I got down. I'm like, what in the world is this? Some crazy stuff. I saw unicorns. I saw a kid riding a pterodactyl. Having a good time.
Fun stuff. We had Rosemary Averill dressed up as a chicken.
Ready to fight.
Yep. And she assured me that it had nothing to do with the fact that I have a tendency to dip my fingers into the chicken ordinance.
My favorite part about that whole situation was when she came up to us after and started having a serious conversation in the full chicken costume, not realizing she's still in a costume. It was, there's a reason I don't remember what the conversation was, because I was just taken aback.
It was rather comical.
It was.
She definitely did a great job dressed up as a chicken. I got plenty of pictures. I posted it on Facebook so that everybody could see that our planning commissioner, one of our planning commissioners, knows how to have some fun. Rosemary Averill.
So not just a blow up, but I used to wear the frog outfit for
That's right.
Froggy 100.9, and it is tough because you're in this outfit and you think you don't usually speak. The frog is silent, but everybody wants to talk to you. But then you do get into a conversation because you've taken a break and you're on the sidelines with somebody, and it's just this frog having a conversation with a person. So I totally get it. It's cool to have a conversation with somebody in some sort of dressed up costume.
It's fun. You'll have to come next year.
Well, I'll need to get a blow
up.
up.
That's right up your.
Do we need a special day for that?
Let me resave that. Whatever you want to call it, a blow up, a uniform. I don't know what you'd call that.
We should just do that every day, all day.
I'm so sorry.
Go about your daily
Every day, all
business
day.
just with a little blow-up costume on. Why
That's
not?
right. Costume. There you go. That's even
Straight
better.
face and just acting all serious. You got a 9-to-5 job? Show up as a banana. Whatever.
Well, nowadays you don't even have to show up, right? You just you're working from home and you'll just be in your blow up outfit.
Blow up. Oh my goodness, I'm so bad. I'm so sorry about that. I apologize. I'm terrible. That was kind of funny though.
It was. And we know where your mind's at.
Ouch. I deserve that. I've been watching a podcast which has replaced somebody with anyway. So I was watching and now get lots of hate for saying this, but Louder with Crowder, and he replaced one of his people with a inflatable person. It's really weird. But anyway, so yeah. So
Such a storyteller.
I know that was terrible. So yeah, no, I think you should definitely go there and get a costume. I can get you one. You want me to get you one?
So it used to be Rubber Bubbles was the place to go for costumes. Where do you go?
So my niece,
Amazon? Is that what it is now?
Yeah.
That's the place.
You know I don't have an Amazon account, right?
you don't have an Amazon account?
I would never buy from Amazon.
Oh,
So you got to
do
go
you
something
survive?
local.
I'll have to. I don't even know where they sell them around here.
Well, maybe that's on your counselor hat. You should think of ways to bring in new businesses, and if there's a need for costumes, there you
Is
go.
there any
I
room in
deserve
Barre
that
City for
after
new
the
businesses?
joke
Do
that
we
I
have any
just
open
made, didn't
storefronts?
I? I kind of deserved that after that. That was kind of harsh. That's okay.
But no, there are a number of storefronts that still need to be filled. There was the place where the dog grooming company was that is still vacant.
Yeah, that's sad. Vasco used to go down there. In fact, they were really nice people. Bruno and Emily, I believe.
Yeah, and I think they would have stayed here, but it was a commute issue.
Yeah, they originally moved up here, and they had then something happened. They moved back down to New Hampshire, and it was just that long commute from New Hampshire to here. It just didn't work out, and they were really sad when they left. But who knows? Maybe they'll come back. That would be nice.
Yeah.
They were a great couple. I'm very disappointed that they left. Cried a little because it was sad. When people take care of your dog for 6-8 months, you get to know them and they get to know your dog, and they did a pretty good job. They took care of him quite well. Neither one of you have a dog. Oh, you used to have a dog. Do you still have the dog?
No, it was my girlfriend's daughter. She had 2 dogs.
Yep.
She still has them. And right now we're fostering for the Central Vermont Humane Society. We have 7 kittens with a mama cat right now. So.
Cats.
Oh, cats. I got 2 cats, but I got one cat that thinks he's a dog, though.
Well, the cat that we're not fostering, Duffy, which is my girlfriend's cat, it does like to play catch. So and fetch, like you can throw something, it'll go get it and come back, bring it back to you. So
It is very weird. My cat brings me sticks. Comes out my carriage head, brings a stick, and wants to play fetch. There's something wrong with that cat. That's all I know. Kids like them, though.
What about squirrels? Should we get squirrels? Have you ever had a squirrel?
I'd like
For
to
a
have a
pet?
pet squirrel. Hey, got some squirrels right here and a bunch of Amazon merchandise.
Oh,
it can stay over there.
Just take a wild guess. How close am I, Michael?
all right. So we're shutting Josh's mic off. Anyway, so yeah, no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
No, so Mother's Day is probably the biggest thing that, other than Green Up Day this weekend. So, like I said, I took my family out. It was 3 of my siblings. Well, 2 of my siblings went. So 3 of us, my parents, my girlfriend's parents, and her brother and family. So there were 5 moms. There was about 20 of us total, including all the kids. And we went out for a brunch. And then we ended up because Sarah, she had a lot of yard work that she wants to get done. So, for Mother's Day, I'll do whatever she needs me to. And then we ended up going up to Williston into the Majestic 10 and watched Doctor Strange.
Nice.
Went out
Was it
for a
good?
movie night.
Any spoilers?
It's not what you're going to expect. I won't give any spoilers. You've already seen probably a lot of the stuff in the previews, but let's just say I will say it has Bruce Campbell. He has a cameo in it, and it would be like Evil Dead-esque type of a movie.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Bruce Campbell is in there. Please tell me that he is saying, "Hail to the Chief, baby."
He does not say that.
Oh.
But he does say some other things.
That's a shame. Hail to the Chief is best. Do you have any idea what we're talking about?
I don't, but is that movie playing right there at Paramount too?
It does. It is playing right at Paramount.
All the way to Williston. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we went up there because we went to the Men's Warehouse in order to find a tux for my girlfriend's son. When you try to find a place down here, Ljubljana's isn't down here anymore.
Yep.
So it's tough to find tuxedos in this area. We used to even go up to JCPenney, which isn't there even in Berlin. So right there in that Williston Common, it was just the movie theater that was right next door.
Nice. Just so you know, Josh is an equal opportunity attacker, so it's nothing personal.
Oh, it's all good. All good. I totally get it.
Well, that's good to know. I won't be going to see Doctor Strange anytime soon now.
No.
Yeah, I'd
that
say wait
review.
until it comes out on Disney Plus in 45 days.
I discontinued my Disney Plus. However, I did recently activate Hulu so that I could watch Rick and Morty.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yes, that was
My
was
daughter got
prompted
me into
by-
that, and I said, "You haven't seen Rick and Morty? It's just absolutely stupid and a must see."
Yes,
I guess it's a guy thing.
And
I
the
don't know.
the main reason why is because I saw the clip on the squirrels, which was absolutely hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, so we're
Don't mess with the
turning it
squirrel.
over to you. What do you do
Yeah.
for Mother's Day?
well, I went to church with my mom, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, you took her to the bar on Saturday.
I took her.
so,
Yeah, I did take her to the bar on Saturday.
Yeah, like for hours
And-
on end. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. We stayed there for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't see you as a bar person, Michael.
It was at Gusto's. I have pictures.
Yeah.
I did go. I went to the bar with my mom, except for we were out in the back. It's actually really nice out back.
Yeah.
It is.
Have
done
you
a
been
good
there
job
since
down there.
they?
I've been there.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
Well, and what I liked, just following up with Green Up Day, is the railroad tracks that are outside of Gusto's were very dirty, and somebody did take the time to clean that up. So that's good.
Who was
Do
that?
you know who that was?
I don't.
So, the question for those on Facebook, we're obviously haven't even touched the agenda or last week's meeting. But the question for everybody
The
was,
agenda this week is just really boring. Not much on
yeah,
it.
there's not really much on the agenda. Did you take a look at it?
I did, and I really had a question for you. Of it just seems like the agendas are a lot smaller. Like, is there less on the agendas now? Like, or is there not as much?
I'm not
happening?
gonna lie, it feels very small lately. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what that's about, but it might be because I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I can give some suggestions to it, but I get in trouble.
You would get into trouble.
Oh yeah, with you probably, because I'd say, well, what changed between February and now, where the agendas would just shrink down, like all problems disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why did all those
What
problems
happened?
disappear?
It's not that they disappeared. It's there's a lot of things that just haven't been worked on.
It's like we're just gonna maybe.
Well,
Michael, if you want, take a look at the priority list, and there's still quite a few of those items that you could gladly grab something from and throw on the agenda.
I loved that priority list so
Charging
much.
stations in the city. Let's go.
So anyway, moving on. Yeah. So on the agenda, you got my packet, right? Did you get the packet?
I do. You're on.
Okay.
You gave me a ability to be on your distribution list, and I still receive it.
Okay. And that goes to anybody that wants to be on the distribution list. You can find the packet on the Barre City Community fan page. What you cannot find on there is my personal opinions on topic items that come up. Sometimes I don't say anything. Most of the time I don't.
Let's hear in the chat. Does anyone care about his personal opinions on the agenda items? Anybody?
Since Renita's watching, no, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear anybody's opinions about my opinions, because I'm sure she'll give me her opinion about my opinion. I love you, Renita.
It sounds like you just gave your opinion about her opinion about your opinions.
Correct. That is correct.
So since it's a light packet this week, I mean, do you think it's possible to add as a very pressing issue? I think a lot of people want to see it is city-funded charging stations. What do you think?
Again, I'm going to completely click ignore and mute. So yeah, we've got 3 resignations. It's actually kind of strange. I don't think I've ever seen 3 resignations from one board before. Do you remember that ever happening?
No, it was more that the committee would dissolve and the members went because of that. This is strange because with the Energy Committee, you think about everything that's happening right now with the move to electric cars, you'd think that there'd be more of an effort to have more individuals on that committee rather than less. So,
Do you have to be
it
a
does seem
resident
odd.
in the city
Yeah.
to be on that committee?
No, you do not have to be in the city to be on that committee. In fact, I will vote against you joining that committee. Yeah, so Elaine Wang is leaving, but she also is leaving as an
She's
assistant.
town clerk, and she's leaving Barre Town. She's going to be the town manager up in Winooski, I do believe.
Yeah, so she's leaving that committee, and so isn't Phil Cicchini, who I think his reason was that he's got a lot of stuff. I mean, he's part of the Chamber of Commerce, so right, isn't he? I think he's part of Chamber of Commerce.
Well, and all of the committee, those 2 especially, have been on that committee for a really long time.
Yeah, 10 plus years.
So, it is time for some new blood to step up to the plate.
Maybe we can get Renita Marshall to join that committee.
Renita was a very active member on our TAC. And
She refuses to join that. I've tried to
Oh,
get
no,
her.
that's fine. But, I mean, she has put in
She's
her
refusing.
time.
I know she's put in.
council
She hasn't
efforts.
put enough time. She needs to come in.
You got to
back.
charge her up, then she go on the energy committee. Think about it. Huh?
Charge her up.
Charge
Her up. We're gonna. So anyway, yeah. So he's stepping down, and then Connor Teal, which you know Connor, right?
Yeah,
Don't you know Connor?
Connor was on a couple different committees. So,
Yeah.
and that's what you see sometimes, too, is you have an individual, they bite off a little bit more. I'm not saying this is Connor's case, but they bite off a little more than they can chew because they get on 3 committees. That's 3 nights, possibly a week. And then it just becomes your job instead of helping out.
Yeah, I think in his resignation he said he moved, so that would explain the reason why. I'm not sure where he moved to, but he did say he moved. So it'll be sad to see the 3 of them go. I don't know who else is on the Barre Energy Committee.
I don't know if there is
offhand?
anybody else at this point. They were looking for more members previously, and I don't know if anybody else had stepped up. They actually stated, I want to say it was about 6 months ago, that they would all gladly make room for others. So, I think it was the writing on the wall.
Yep. So that's the end of the Energy Committee. There's nobody on the Energy Committee. So that's 4 spots that are vacant for anybody that wants to join. Except for Josh Howard, who is not allowed to join because he would be a thorn in my side immensely.
I would just spark some debate all the time. It'd be great.
So just one question I'll pose to you, Michael, is, they'd always promote the use of electric vehicles, which is good. But my concern was I've been trying to get a camper for a long time. And I'm even talking about a small camper, like a 19-footer, not like these 40-footers or more that a lot of my friends have. But even with a 19-footer, it needs to pull 4,000 pounds. That's what, the average weight is. And if I was to try to haul that to go camping, just like take a weekend trip somewhere, I still can't find an electric vehicle that would be able to do that. The closest I found was a hybrid because it was a hybrid, you couldn't carry the trailer anymore. If it was a hybrid, it was still a truck. It could still do some other things, but nothing that would meet that need and get me to and from a place to go camping.
Well, I've said that
seems
before.
Like an easy solution. What you do is you go out and get like 15 golf carts. You just tie them together and link them up, and you got yourself covered.
Well, you could do what 10 was.
Isn't that a convoy?
You can name them Donner and Dasher.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Comet and Blixen.
But I'm just saying,
Cupid.
We're not there yet, but I think we're getting on our way where the batteries are a little bit better. The camper itself has tons of solar panels on it. You can't use it while you're driving, but once you're in the place that you're going, you have that limited amount of electricity you need for the lights on the outside of the camper. You could even charge your phone while you're there if you want that, but usually for me, I don't want to be on the phone. That's why I'm going camping. You just need a little bit of
very
electricity.
Difficult to get on the phone. I'm not going to lie.
If you call, I mean,
difficult to get a hold of in general.
Yeah, these days it's just busy.
Busy bee.
Yeah.
No longer on city council, but yet you're still busy bee.
So, Lucas, this appears to me that the city has a lot of committees. So, a question to you is, just to kind of narrow them down, what's your top 100 committees for the city?
Well, we never reached 100 committees, but honestly, there was a lot of good work that the committees were doing. So I'll make the long story short. Committees used to come out with recommendations and provide them to the city, and then we could act upon those. And after time, some of the committees kind of took on their own life, and they became like a sub-council. And that was some of the work that I hope the strategic planning that Michael does can alleviate. Make it so there's a set number of goals. Make sure that they're addressing those goals, come back with the recommendations, and possibly have done some of the work like a policy development to hand to council rather than having it placed back on the burden of staff. If there's a staff person that has to come to every committee, then really it's just staff work again. It's not a committee doing anything. So if we can see those committees, doing the work, bringing it forward, making a recommendation saying, please pass this, having a staff review at the end of the process rather than throughout the process, that's what the intent of the committees were.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have noticed a significant. Oh, we got a little kid there. What's he doing? Little kid there. He's like coming right on.
Yeah, he came up to say hi.
He did.
Sit right next to Lucas and say, "All right, now we're doing a show."
That would have been cool.
That would have been exciting.
Yeah, no, I have noticed that committees are taking on a little bit more than what they should be taking on. There's significant. I've watched the last 6-8 months of the TAC committee, and that was definitely. I felt like I was part of a. And that's our fault, by the way. That's our fault because we gave them that charge, and I looked at that charge, and I looking back, I wish we had refined that a little bit, because according to that charge, they're definitely doing what's within their charge. Yeah,
no, and what they should be doing isn't directing the department head, though. They need to come back to council.
Oh, I get that.
And that's the difference.
I get that. It definitely, from what I see in the committee meetings, I don't know if that's happening. The ones that I saw, it almost felt like they were a department head meeting and instructions to the department head, and I'm like, I sent an email to Steve. I'm like, hey, this isn't okay, buddy.
They can advise on certain items, but I think it went a little too far of saying a department head report for a committee when it was more detailed than the department head report that was coming to council. So, right, and how much time does it take that department head away from doing the jobs? Specifically, this is Bill Ahern who's doing the DPW work. Yeah. So when he's trying to do our streets, our sidewalks, our, and I got to give him kudos. The sidewalk painting's already started. The crossbar is already going in. So Bill's doing an awesome job. But if he has to spend a lot of the time that he needs to spend directing staff rather than, do this report for a committee, it might be beneficial.
Yeah. So with that said, folks, the Barre Energy Committee does have some openings for you if you're interested.
I see in the chat that Renita knows where you live.
She does know where I live,
so.
And I know where she lives.
Oh, you're gonna go knock on.
And
door
I
say,
can be
"We're
a
gonna-"
little more vindictive and vicious
Well, I
than
said
she
I would
realizes.
love to be part of the energy committee.
Although
It'd
she
be
terrifies me. I'm not going to lie. She terrifies me.
So if you want to fill out an application, it's right on the website. Michael is only one of 7 people on council, so even if you don't get his vote, you might get 6 others. So I would still suggest that you do volunteer for one of the bodies of the city.
Absolutely. I will
Noted.
not do anything. I will not do anything to you, Renita. I will not do anything. She's threatening me with glitter.
Oh, just so everyone is
Yeah.
watching, Michael loves glitter. If you want to give him a present, glitter bomb is that present.
Or not. Moving on. So then we get the downtown parking study update, which, again, we kind of, did a parking study in the middle of COVID, but that's okay.
That wasn't that long ago. I heard a parking study. How has it been a year? Or are we doing this like every few months?
No,
now? This is just
it's the same study. It was about 6 months ago. We charged them to answer a couple more questions, more detail, and now they're coming back with that detail.
Yeah.
I see how that is. Lucas is like, hey, do some more work, and then he just skips out like I don't want to be part of this.
Well, no, we basically had like an 80% complete report. We just needed them to clarify some items. If you look at the one that's in the packet, what's confusing is something like Lot A is called G. So if they could have done a better job at labeling things, it would have been great. But going back even further, part of our downtown master plan was to have the parking be in the center of where the buildings were. So, for example, behind where we are, so this is Main Street. On the other side here, there's parking, and you'll see on the map there's a whole section of where there's either public or private parking, and then you have lots that are over by where the karate studio is, the old schoolhouse over there, and it's on the corner. Does it get utilized much? Not really. And if it's outside that bank of parking in the middle, could that be a place that the city could get rid of parking in favor of having a development? So, those are the types of things that you can look at from this study. The other thing that's tough, though, is there's private lots and public lots. So we don't control a private lot. You can say there's available parking in the downtown, but if you have a business owner that doesn't want to play nice and doesn't want to share those spots, in effect, all those spaces are not available for public parking.
Yeah. And since we recently just chatted about the traffic advisory committee, not traffic advisory, it's transportation advisory committee. The last item on the agenda would be the redo of Merchant Street and Route 14. And actually, that is one of the things that when I was watching on the TAC, I was like, wow, that feels more like directives coming from the TAC. And they were talking about, not, there was actually conversation about not doing the actual work because I don't know how it would cause problems on Merchant Street because, and then maybe something about that?
So I can do some of the plus minus for you because I think the recommendation from the committee as it reads is if you put a turn lane to go onto a street, it's encouraging more people to go on that street. I would disagree with that because by putting a turn lane in that area, you actually now create 3 lanes, the to from and the one that has to turn.
Yep.
So you're narrowing the scope of the traffic. Whenever you narrow that, the traffic flow, cars go slower. They naturally, when you drive and you have a narrow place to go through, you're going to slow down. So that's a traffic calming measure for one. The other, it's when you come and try to turn out of there, just think of this. If you ever came down Merchant Street and you're not heading to Barre Town like Josh would be, right? You'd be turning back into the city to come back down to, say you want to go to Mulligan's, but you're from Merchant Street, so you're not taking the side streets down. You're coming around that curve. Well, you would never do that because it is such a obtuse angle that you can't even see over your shoulder to see around that. So the intent is really to make it a T, like most intersections are. You have line of sight on both sides. So it's actually the original idea of it was so that it would be a safety measure.
Yeah.
I know there was other conversations about
sidewalks.
There's no sidewalks there.
Well, I know there was a conversation about adding sidewalks, which I mean I get. I think a sidewalk that I would much rather see before we start putting in sidewalks on Merchant Street, where there's very little traffic, foot traffic, that is. Granted, there's a few people that walk over to Hope Cemetery, but, the place that has a lot of foot traffic that doesn't have a sidewalk is 6th Street to Richardson Road sidewalk, right? And there's no sidewalk there, and people are walking on that all the time. But yeah, no, I think the redevelopment of that is definitely what we should be doing. There's no doubt about that. I mean, and having that extra lane in there, those people get paid to like know this stuff. And, you're right. It's gonna queue people up. It's gonna stop people when you get that other car there. It's going to cause the cars going down to go a little bit slower. And if the idea that we're going to not have that queue, I don't think it's gonna. I'll say this: as I'm driving in the winter, and that road may be just a wee bit slippery, I'm gonna wish that queue line was there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, instead of building a sidewalk, you can always paint a lane for now. It can also decrease the width of the lanes and create some safety there. You don't know the utilization. That's one thing that I haven't seen any part of this is, has there been a survey of who's actually walking in that area? Which, there probably are some people.
Well, there's definitely some people walking there. I just, for me, and I, it's my ward, right? Like I should be, I definitely should be constantly on.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, I just realized I haven't been wearing the hat. I should be fighting for that sidewalk, but I don't know if the sidewalk is, although I represent Ward 2, I have to think like globally for Barre City as well, and understand that, that probably doesn't rise to the same importance level as, 6th Street to Richardson Road. But then again, if the state's doing the work, I mean, I don't have a problem asking them to put it in there. It'll be difficult for, we're going to have to maintain that, but,
Well, but to your point, I mean, it's federal funds or at least state funds, not local funds, that will be used for the original construction. And then when you're talking about extending the sidewalk from that location all the way down to, it's a 4-way intersection now down on Merchant Street, that would be quite an expense. And that's something where if the local residents, I mean, we have that local assessment district as an option if they wanted to put something in, but simply just put some paint for now and see how that works out. If anything, it just helps alleviate the traffic and slows the traffic.
Yeah, and Renita is making a comment here that she takes a second breath when she's going through that traffic. It's going back down that street. It is kind of dangerous. It would be nice if it was a T. Yeah, definitely. I would have to.
And
really
I am
would
a
be
huge fan of sidewalks. You can ask anybody. Sidewalks everywhere. I have my own sidewalk battle, if I remember correctly.
I have
a sidewalk battle.
You want a
right
sidewalk because of the park, so it goes right down to Trow Hill Grocery.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
Makes
there
sense.
are,
And I just outed where you live. I'm so sorry.
There are other areas of the city where the sidewalk ends and then does begin again, which is, I think, what you're saying about
right.
1st through 6th Street. The other note I wanted to make on this section is it was the traffic flow through the that area. So if you're coming down Merchant Street, it was more before and after Thunder Road races. I know this because I grew up here, and I would take that route as a way to bypass downtown. You would take Merchant Street.
Yep.
But on the other side, I'm just trying to pull it up on my phone here so I can see it. I think I have.
While
my
you're
phone
doing
reversed.
that, when we talk about, because one of the things that get people frustrated is
Roundabouts.
Well, I like roundabouts.
Well, there you go. There's your answer.
Merchant Street has become a more thorough way, and that's partly because it's a straight right through. People on like Tremont, they also have got that same type of thorough way kind of thing going on as well. And I mean, if we want to do calming, I mean, they are doing some calming measures up on Merchant Street, and I think they're working.
Well, the other part that I was going to point out was Wellington. I think
Yep.
that's the one that comes down.
Yep.
That it split right
Yep.
at the top of the hill, and they've made it so you cannot go up the hill to the left. So that did take a lot of traffic that was leaving from Thunder Road, trying to find that back route where you don't have to hit Main Street and head over. So no one's going to be taking that long route out. It's now
Right.
really just that route in and making sure that that's closed off too.
I was
Yep.
on Merchant the other day. There's speed bumps on it now.
Yes, there is
Which
speed
when
bumps,
you go
and
at
that
50,
was
they're a lot of fun. You should try it. It's like hit like 45, 50 miles an hour and just launch a little bit. But you land so nice.
you're being very sarcastic, and it's not funny.
Fantastic. I don't know.
People get very, very frustrated, and I don't blame people for getting frustrated. People going 45 miles per hour through there, they should put spikes out. I mean, that will teach them not to go 45.
Activated spikes.
Speed, yeah, why
Go-
not?
Let's say you're going over 33.
You're going,
Like,
if
give
you're
a- give
going
a little
40
bit,
miles per hour on
That's a bit
Merchant
much.
Street,
Yeah.
you're insane. And you're, no offense to all the people that are watching, if you're going 45 miles per hour, unless you're being chased by someone that's threatening to kill you, you shouldn't be going 45 miles per hour down that street. People live on that street. There's kids that play on that street. Well, they don't play in the street, obviously.
There's
Hopefully,
only
they
one
don't.
place in the city that is acceptable, and that's like on Hill Street, right before you're trying to go up the big part there, pretty much right by camp. Just get some good speed going, stomp on it so you make up the hill, especially in the wintertime. You need the momentum going for you.
Well,
No.
it's true that a lot of people do accelerate up the hill more so that, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I grew up on a back road in Worcester, Vermont. You had to get around those corners. You had to go a little bit faster so that you would have the acceleration and then just the power at the top to get through. You just had to. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Vermont roads.
It can be a little frustrating. I get that. So that's it for the agenda. Now we certainly can chat about last week.
Yeah, that's okay.
I know Lucas was there. It was nice to see you there. Unfortunately, you didn't get to speak. I was kind of hoping that you would.
There were a lot of people there.
There were a lot of
That was like a
people
very filled
at the
room.
beginning,
Yeah.
and then it like tapered off real quick. But yeah, you were there. Were you just gonna speak on behalf of the?
Well, I was there for
Sons
two
of the Legion?
reasons. For one, I was on the agenda for my stipend, and I figured if anybody had any questions, I should be there
That's
for
true.
it.
That's a good point.
But that was deferred, and so I was like, okay. And then it was interesting to see on the agenda that the same time that a person places an item for a flag request, they also put something where it was a legal item on the agenda. And I don't know. I don't think I've seen that before. I don't think.
Nope.
And if there's going to be an evaluation of legal services for the city, why is it targeted just to one case versus anything that was legal over time?
Yeah.
So
That was the whole reason why I wanted to pull it off, and then things went side rail, so we ended up not doing that. Which it was a mess of a council meeting,
End result.
unfortunately.
We're getting a flag right downtown Barre on Memorial Day.
well, and
Correct.
So I do
Memorial
have
Day, Veterans Day, and for July 4th. So I'm
right,
I'm
and
really
I do have
excited
a
about that.
procedural question for you, though, Michael.
Sure.
So, in order to vote on a flag request, we're supposed to have a request from the public. It's got to be sponsored by a counselor.
Yep.
And then you vote on that request.
Correct.
So, what was the flag request? Who was it from for the 4th of July? And who was it from for Veterans Day?
So, honestly, that the flag request, even though it came in underneath a special flag request, it's not a special flag. It doesn't qualify for a special flag. It is the city's flag. It is, city putting it up. It's the city. You can come to council and ask us to do that, but the special flag is not, the special flag does not, that policy does not belong with that agenda item. I understand the reasoning why Steve did it. I completely understand, after all the hoopla with the flag stuff a couple of years ago, completely understand. But yes, you are correct. It doesn't belong on there, and well, it doesn't matter now because it's going up every year from this point on, unless a council wants to dare to touch that.
I would hope that people are smarter than that.
So, just to know that
Hopefully.
the way the policy is written has been horrible ever since we enacted it, and
Yep.
I can take some of the blame for that because I was a part of the council that did it. But
I voted no.
no, I know. But so that to that point, any flag request, it says must do this, whether it's special flag or the American flag, and that's something that just needs to be revisited, and I think it will be if the legislative charter change.
Passed the House at 7:15, I think, on Tuesday night.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah.
So then it must be because we're almost at the end of the session. So
Yep. It should be voted on by Governor Scott sometime this week.
that'd be quick. Well, because it still has to go through the Senate,
Yep.
right?
It has to go back to the Senate, and there's no hiccups expected, and the expectation is it will be on his desk, and then we vote for that, or he signs it up and sends it back to us, and it's all wrapped up in a little bow. And thankfully Peter Anthony changed his vote on that after he changed it the first time
And the second time.
and the second time.
Third time.
But we're glad. I mean, it is I'm glad that it went through. I'm glad that we can move on that. And the last thing that we have to do is a little cleanup work with that flag policy. And believe me, I will love and relish the idea when we have to abandon that flag policy. I'm not going to lie.
So then, in the effort to move on, along with the other charter changes, that was from 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We have our charter changes from this year. Is that included along with?
It is. So that means the local options tax will be effective. And
thank
you know
you.
what? Respect the vote.
Town.
That's right. Yeah,
Respect
it's
the
here.
vote. That's all you have to say. The people voted for the local options tax. Respect the vote. And I plan to, but yeah. So that was
So if
last
you buy
week.
something in, let's say, out of town without an option tax, and you're a Barre City resident, do you have to notify the city so you pay tax on that?
No.
Huh.
We're not the state of Vermont. We're Barre City.
So say you're in Barre Town, which you don't have a lot of the same businesses as we do down here in the city. When you do come into the town, or you come into the city from the town, you're paying that tax, and it basically is covering for the wear and tear on the road that it takes to come in. So that is, in essence, what it's doing. So on the reverse, I mean, if we from Barre City were to drive into Barre Town for a business up there, there's not the same equivalent. Something Barre Town could look into, though.
Yeah, I think Barre Town would love to tax Barre City. I will vote for that all day.
Whatever. So one last thing, since we got you here, and we've gotten you here for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's anything else besides the last thing here that I got, which is I got this in the mail. People can't see it very well. And I thought of you because you're the one that pushes this through every single year. It's the Athena,
Oh, that's
the
true.
Athena Awards.
Yeah.
So was that the 4th? What does it say? The 40th or 4th?
It's the 4th annual. So
4th annual.
yeah, it started during the time that I was mayor, and I tried to push for the city to do recommendations. There's actually 2 different awards. One is basically any female professional, and one is a young professional.
Yep.
And we had a large number of young women professionals in Barre,
Mhm.
which makes it difficult to decide between them in order to get the award for it.
So you don't have to. You can actually submit multiple individuals.
I understand
So-
that, but from the city, it was we were nominating one as a city, and individuals can nominate as well. So it
Yep.
was really to show our support for a local person.
So
To your point, though, if there's more than one that the city wanted to represent in the future, then we could or I'm not here anymore, so you could go through that process of doing the application and see how many individuals that council wants to.
You'll have to
support.
tell me how to do the application because I got 2 individuals that I'm thinking of right now. One is watching, and the other one probably never watches.
Yeah.
Speaking of those watching, got a couple comments here.
I see that.
Well, first off, Karen Berners wants to tell you guys to stop blaming Thunder Road. Just stop it. And Kathy, I'd like to know, with the option tax, I'm assuming, does that mean we're going to get better roads in Barre City?
So the local options tax does go, the money raised from that goes to our streets and capital improvements. So yes, it would help with, fixing some of our roads. I will say that regarding our roads, right now they're pretty bad. But that's because, it's winter, right? Winter's just getting done. We just went through mud
You got
season.
your good roads and your bad roads that happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And we're getting right
not
into paving season like right now.
Yeah, I get.
Firing right up.
I know that there are some roads, and if there is a road that's really, really bad, if you see one that's just like terrible beyond all comprehension, like if you see a pothole or something, there's an app called See Click Fix, and just download that app, take a picture of it, send it off, and it'll get put into a workflow for the Public Works Department. I mean, I got a complaint from someone in Barre Town driving down on Hill Street, and there was a pothole right after Nelson, and the person, I'll let you read that. That's a pretty big post. But there was a person that complained about it, and I sent Bill an email, and Steve and Bill, because I don't just send random emails to department heads. I always carbon copy Steve. And within 24 hours, that pothole was fixed. So it's really important that you let your city know when there's a problem, and because if they don't know it's there, they can't fix it.
Well, and the other part of this is just there is the prioritization process that the council will be going through. So if you have an extra, call it $500,000 each year, roads cost more than most people think. And Renita, who's on here, can speak to that. So as you're going through, every year it's $500,000. So don't think that every road everywhere is going to be done in 1 year.
Yep.
Just be realizing that in 10 years, you'll see a much more improvement for what's happening. And I did see a comment go through there about Thunder Road and don't pick on Thunder Road. I actually love Thunder Road. It's a part of my growing up. I would go up with my uncle and aunt and my cousin because we'd go in for the family rate, and I would be included as part of that family. Yeah. So I was up there all the time. It's not picking on them. It's just the real experience that I had of when we would bypass the downtown by using side roads. And really that's what the essence of what they're trying to do with the streets, the Transportation Advisory Committee is doing right now is to eliminate that fast speed or additional side traffic that isn't needed where residentials are.
So
what I will say about Thunder Road is thank you for supporting yet another Barrytown business.
You're such a troll.
Oh, I know.
You're not very nice.
So with that app, Michael, can you take pictures of some things like, say, like a broken fence at a playground, or
yes,
maybe like
yes.
another like you find 2
Yes.
playgrounds with broken fences
Yes.
like in 2 days by accident?
That is correct. You can do that. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yes. I sent you
So
pictures
anyway,
already, so.
we're moving on to the. I wanted to go back to the Thunder Road thing, and ask you, Lucas. When you were younger, were you competing with me, picking up the beer cans?
No, that wasn't my task, but I have seen tons of kids that they would sit at the bottom of what was the water chutes. Because really,
I think
those
it's called Bud Hill, isn't it?
next to Bud Hill. Yep. So aptly named. People are drinking Bud on Bud Hill, but they're drinking whatever they are.
Yeah.
And these chutes that are really made for water irrigation to make sure that it's not washing out the hills, it's going into the right drainage spots. They would drop their can on it and it would roll down to the bottom. And if you're the kid who's down at the bottom, you get all these cans. I mean, you get bags and bags of cans each night.
Yep, I remember doing that as a kid.
Yep,
And
you got all that. I didn't get any of it.
You didn't get any of that?
I sat in the bleachers.
You
so.
sat in the bleachers?
Yeah.
They didn't have the nice cement setup that they had then.
They had less of the grandstands. Yes, because I sat over next to where the if you call it the announcer's booth in the middle of the track between turns 4 and turn 1. That whole area is where I would sit when I was a kid. But I know what you're talking about. Up on, like, off from turn 3, there's a whole new area there now. Off from turn 4, where that was just all hill at one point, they extended it too. So that was developed over time.
Do they still take left turns?
I think that's all they take, right?
Turn left.
I'm clearly not a race car
Well,
person.
I can get Terry Rail in here. He's a racer.
He's really into racing?
Yeah, he's one of the race car drivers up there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I
He
don't.
was, yeah. He's got his own race car and stuff.
I didn't know that. I think Justin Town is, right?
I think JD knows a lot of race car drivers now on an aired out show.
I bet you he does.
Yeah, he's
I
been
bet you
meeting
he
a lot
does.
of them. Back to the flag briefly. Barbara just wanted to say that it should be automatic for Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and 4th of July, and 9/11 as well, just to put the flag up. I can agree with that. It shouldn't be such a process to go through every year.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what that new policy you put through takes care of. Is just from here going forward, you picked, was it Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and 4th of July? Is that correct?
Yep.
Pick those 3 to start with, and obviously policies can be adjusted to accommodate other holidays as well as time goes on. But
Well, and the one difference here is this was a vote of council, so it's not in policy or written anywhere, versus we do have a policy on the books right now, which will most likely, probably 2/3 of it will be rescinded once the law passes.
Yeah.
But one of your constituents had actually mentioned, so to put in the back of your mind, the Barre area veterans put up the flags along Main Street every year. It's not written in any policy. It's kind of like the same thing.
automatically
Council has
goes up.
said that you can put it up before Memorial Day and take it down by Veterans Day. So
Yep.
those flags are up all
Yep.
year.
And that's what's going to happen now going forward on those days. The question about 9/11, and I kind of struggled with what to do with 9/11, and I didn't put that into my motion.
this year, not last
This-
year, correct?
Well, no, last year.
Okay.
So last year, 100% downright should have been put the flag up. I mean, it's the 20th anniversary. You
Yeah.
put it up, and I think it should. I definitely think it should be going up every, the 20. Well, obviously the 20th is past, but the 25th, the 30th, and the concern that I have with 9/11 is I was talking to someone that teaches, and they told me that their students had no clue what 9/11 was, and this person is in college. She was telling her college students to write a report about this, and they were like, we didn't know what that was, which was terrifying beyond all comprehension that something that had such a dramatic effect in our country. I mean, your daily life has been significantly modified by 9/11. Significantly. Let me ask you, Lucas, do you
TSA.
have to, TSA, perfect example.
Yep.
I mean, I have to sign in with a key card to go into my office. You have to do that for yours, I assume.
I do.
And Josh doesn't have to, but
I just walk right into your
he
office.
just walks right
Yeah.
into his office. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, there's just so much has modified the very fabric of our country, all because
It's
of
sad that
9/11.
A lot of kids nowadays aren't learning about it, but if we were to put the flag up once a year in that policy, and let's say a family's driving through and a kid goes, they're going to notice that the flag's not up all the time, and they're going to say, well, it goes up for special things. They say, well, why is the flag up now? It might spark that conversation a little bit.
It might.
An opportunity to teach them a little something.
It might. I actually. I don't know. I'm actually gonna work with Sam to try to figure something out. We threw a couple things out we spit a couple ideas out, and we'll see. I'm gonna work with her on that and see what comes out of that. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
I would like to see the quilted flag up sometime.
Well, and that's the thing, the quilted flag. Do we bring that out during 9/11? Because that was our community, again, a fundamental change in our country. And that was something our community got together. And I say our community. I wasn't here at the time. I was down in college. But, it's still my community. I mean, I was back up here in December.
It's a beautiful story about that, too.
It is.
And,
it is.
I could see how you only want to raise certain things on certain occasions. But the way I look at it is from last year, it was an embarrassment that the flag wasn't able to go up from the city. And in some ways, it was made the holiday that much more patriotic. If you drove around the city, like I did, you saw some houses just decked out with flags like more than I've ever seen in my life. You had the flag down at City Hall Park that they donated a cherry picker for. Was kind of neat. But I think even on a 21st anniversary, made it to the year that council can say, oops, here we go, let's do it right this year. Even though it's a year
That's a
late.
good idea.
Yeah.
And the idea of hanging it every single year on 9/11, I'm not.
Quilted flag, probably not. That's a delicate flag.
Well,
I would want to cherish that as long as possible. So
the
before you hang
quilted flag, yes. I'm talking about the large flag, because we don't hang it for Pearl Harbor, right?
Just buy a new flag every year, like I do.
Just buy a new flag. They're only $1,000, $2,000.
What's your city budget again?
Anyway, so
No, but to both of your points about the quilted flag, it is fragile. It's something that you want to maintain for a long time because there is historical value. So rather than hanging something, maybe it is something that you can do for a ceremony within City Hall Park. That's not me. So think of it as, the same thing as Flag Day, right? Flag Day, there's a ceremony in City Hall Park. They don't fly special flags for it. And by special flag, I mean iterations of the U.S. flag that leads up to what we have for the flag today. People don't realize that either. How many different flags have flown representing our country? So you could go back to the Betsy Ross flag, and there's a whole ceremony around just the flags and a flag. A flag burning is really a ceremony to make sure that the flag is disposed of correctly. So those are all things that can be done. You don't have to hang the flag for it. You can do other ceremonies right in City Hall Park. Right.
In flag burning, meaning incineration of an old tattered
Tarnished.
flag.
Yes.
We actually, our City Hall Park had our flag. We noticed it. I was actually talking to Josh about it. He pointed out that the flag was a little dingy, and
I said I need to replace. It's about time.
Yeah. Well, and I reached out to Jeff, who already had it on his docket to have it replaced. And if you drive by,
Is it up already?
I believe so.
Wow,
it should be.
Quick.
And that is in the city budget.
Yes, that is in the city budget.
The $25 flag, good to go.
Good to go. That
$2,000 flag,
that's a little bit of a problem. The $2,000 flag, but the $25 flag is definitely within the manager's approval limits.
I think it's a little more than $25 now, but
Probably.
with inflation right now, inflation's through the roof.
But well, with that, I won't keep you here. Do you have anything
it's 8
you want
o'clock.
to
Look at that.
anything you want to bring forward or talk about?
No, I mean I'm just glad to see the city is clean. Again, Green Up Day, which when you clean up all that stuff, Bill's been out with the street sweeping crew to make sure that that's done. That's actually something that previous council had made sure that the sweeper was out there. We bought those paint machines in previous years, so he's getting out there and making sure the striping's done, which those were always complaints. And that's the thing. We heard constituents. We made sure that we had the tools that were available, and we wanted to make sure that those things were done. So, yeah, we were able to get that early and earlier each year, and I'm glad that the city's doing well now.
Nice. Well,
I got one last question. And so, Lucas, what are your thoughts on city-funded charging stations?
City-funded electrical vehicle charging stations?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if there was more private investment that would do it here, there are spots in Montpelier. There's spots up in Berlin, actually, for the Teslas. It's It's not on their public dime.
I think it's up by the Comfort Inn, or is that the Comfort Inn?
It is the
where
Comfort
Applebee's
Inn
is and
and
stuff, right?
next to the Maplewood gas station.
Yeah, I saw those. They're kind of cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if there was an investor that wanted to do something similar to that here in the city, I mean that would be a good thing.
Ultimately, Josh is trolling you to make
To make
my
Michael's
life
a living
miserable.
hell.
Yes.
We already know that we disagree on this one. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
this
Terry,
is
that
true.
is a squirrel in front of me, and I think it's electric. This one's got a knife.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold it up again.
Some weirdness. Yeah, you got it.
Got it. Rachel and Nutters. Anyway,
Rachel B.
Lucas?
Squirrel and Nutters. We don't have a middle and last name for Nutters.
no, Nutters doesn't have a middle name. Lucas, thank you for joining us.
Oh, no problem.
We
Thanks for having me
really
over here.
appreciate it. It's great to see you. Come
Yeah,
by
I-
more often.
I was able to grab the Rainbow Bridge Community Center pamphlet while I was here. We were speaking of the flag, and the person that's opening this was a veteran himself. So I've been reaching out to him to see if there's anything he needs on his veteran side of his life. And I know that there's much more to him than that I will learn about in the future.
Yeah. Greg Milo is a great guy. It was funny. I went down there and had a conversation with him, and he asked me to look at the website, and I noticed that Alicia was his ex-wife, and I knew her from working up at Washington County Mental Health, and she was fantastic. And unfortunately, she passed away, and then I ended up working with her daughter. Didn't know it until later on, and yeah, anyway. So Greg is a great guy. I definitely enjoy him. He's a great guy. But thank you for coming.
No problem.
And thank you, Josh, for. Yep. So, with that,
I think Josh should be your co-host from this point forward.
he is right now. He is the fill-in co-host for the Barre Beat.
So everyone who's watching, if you want a co-host as a fill-in or a co-host for full-time, survey right now. Put in your notes. Put it in the comments. We'll see what they vote.
Who likes it when I give Michael a hard time? Everyone likes it.
No, not everyone.
No, I think everyone likes it. I mean, I could take a poll. I think you know how it's going to come out.
Yeah, well, that's because half of your friends are watching.
Your mom likes it when I give you a hard time.
Anyway, you've been watching the Barre Beat podcast live from ASB Financial Studios, Barre, Vermont, on Main Street, and Fly on the Wall Productions. And you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys next week.
We'll be all charged up.
Oh, brother.